Hi, this is Acms with the US stock highlights here on Share Talk for Wednesday, the 16th of December. Starting off with Aemd Medical, where we're at something of a crossroads here. We've got that old peak from October at $2.20. Just toying with that now. I suppose you've got to allow down to around the $1.95, $2 level, which is the old resistance at the beginning of December of this month, and while we're above that, then looking for the upside, hopefully. Ideally, we do close back above $2.20, but anyway, if we are above that particular zone, then the upside here could be not only a retest of that June peak there at $3.73, but as high as $4.50, which is a February resistance line projection. But if you're cautious, you'd wait for 220 plus. Otherwise, any dips towards the $2 area currently regarded as potential buying opportunities on the basis that old resistance will become new support. Perhaps less dicey in terms of its charting setup at the moment is Acrs Therapeutics. Beautiful breakout through that old October resistance, $5.04, and while we're above that, on an end-of-day close basis, we could head up towards the top of the rising trend channel that I've drawn from the end of May, currently pointing it to a target as high as $9, and hopefully that could be seen as soon as the end of next month. On to a stock which was initially a request, but has become something of a favorite, at least for me. Blnk Charging, witty name as well. Here we've got this consolidation the shares have had since last week of last month, so in a sort of triangle breakout now. Breakout level basically today's low around $25, and while we're above that on an end of day close basis, we could hit the top of that October trend channel as high as $47, hopefully as soon as the next 6 to 8 weeks, so maybe going into February on that particular target. In terms of support, as I said, around the $25 mark should do the trick in this case, and especially as that was today's support area. Next up is Canaan, and here you can see that shares of, well, they're of note really today because of the gap to the upside above both the 50 and 200-day moving averages. They're nestling around the $3 area, the black and blue lines, black line there, the 200, and the blue, the 50-day. And the view is, at least while we're above the recent swing support there around $3.18, there's a chance of a retest of $6 plus, which is basically post-May resistance. If you want to make it a tighter situation than that in terms of risk reward, then you'd have the stop loss back below today's gap, end of day close below today's the floor of today's gap at $3.60, i.e. yesterday's intraday high would be the stop loss as we look for $5-6 plus on Canaan. On to a situation which is looking helpful at the moment, helpful to the bulls anyway. Drive Shack with a gap to the upside through $2.50, and also the initial December resistance at $2.69. While there's no end-of-day close back below that floor of that gap there at $2.51, we're looking for further upside to the top of that July trend channel, hopefully as high as $4.30 or $4.40. Probably, if you want to give it a bit more space, recent support towards $2.30 is the wider stop loss on that situation, and obviously the floor of the channel there at $2, but $4 plus hopefully by the end of next month or going into the first part of February. Another stock which is on the radar for the bulls is just coming up now. Dtea Inc. And here you can see that there has been a gap as well through the initial December resistance at $2.10. What we want to see is an end of day close above that, and we want the shares to remain above yesterday's high at $2. While we're above $2 on an end of day close basis, the top of the rising trend channel from March up to $3.50 could be the target for the stock by the end of next month. Indeed, only back below $1.50, which is the floor of this year's channel, really delaying the upside scenario for Dtea. Onto a stock which is actually a request, but although I've covered it before, not precisely knowing what the company did, but apparently it's in the crypto area. Here we've got Marathon Patent Group. Beautiful gap to the upside, actually already closed above the initial December resistance at $6.80, and while we're above the floor of the overnight gap at $7.16 on an end of day close basis, looking to the top of that rising May trend channel as high as $14, hopefully by the end of next month. Onto a stock which I'm not, or I wasn't familiar with until today, which is always refreshing, Mind Technology. Here we've got a situation where the shares have had a brief bull trap through a significant resistance there towards $2.80, and that's been in place for most of the post-June period. So really looking for any dips towards the 200-day line around $1.85 as support, and $2.80 is then the subsequent target for the shares. As far as the support and resistance areas and the technicals at the moment, the 200-day line and the floor of the trend channel that I'm drawing from May is hopefully where the shares will trade over the near term, but don't really want to see an end of day close back below $1.80, even though that looks relatively well supported at this stage. Onto a stock which is also worth keeping an eye on over the near term, and one that is bullish, hopefully, over the course of the turn of the year. Here we've got Mdxg group, and here there's been a nice break through recent resistance from August. That was at $7.25. Above that, on an end of day close basis, looking towards the top of the rising February trend channel, and that's currently promising as high as $12 plus from MyMeds group. And the nice thing about this, I suppose, is that the risk reward here is relatively tight, given that we're risking $1 to hopefully make up to $4 from this situation. Just a few to go now in this selection today. First up is Nxtd, which has been a very, very volatile market. What we'd like to see, I suppose, over the near term is an end of day close above the initial December resistance at 69 cents, let's call it. Above that, we're looking towards the top of the range and the top of that trend channel from September last year, currently pointing to $1. So above 69 cents, hopefully up to $1 after today's sharp gap to the upside. Seen some interest on social media for the next stock, Siox Therapies. Obviously, they were very keen on anything in the pharma or biotech area, so this fits the bill. What would be useful here is that we remain above the 50-day moving average at $2.80. That obviously gives us the top of this falling trend channel at $4 plus as the initial target, and then clearly the October resistance of $5.74, hopefully as a target for the end of January, while we remain above $2.80 for Siox Therapies. Finishing off with the stock which has been featured here a few times, Tlry, and current position is that we've had a bit of a dance, I suppose, over the post-November period, a rather rocky ride, but hopefully this is the last time the shares mess up or give us this volatile price action. We've had a decent bounce off $7.25, looking, I suppose, for an end-of-day close through $9.70, which would be is the late November and early December resistance. If we can get through that for either today or by the end of the week, then we would be looking towards the top of a March trend channel at $17.50 on a 1 to 2 month time frame. So all about $9.70 really for Tlry, and breaking that on a comprehensive basis to see a decent bullish maneuver. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.